American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purpose, and this is American Football in Finland. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Coach Q and Chris Green. What's going on, fellas?
What up?
Ain't nothing, baby. We back. Let's do it. Do it.
The AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast, and you can see us visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Anyone who listens and watches but doesn't hit that button, we know you're a hater, but that's cool. We're going to get on with the show anyways. Maple League teams are back in action on Thursday with the Kuopio Steelers versus Helsinki Roosters. Then we have the Helsinki Wolverines versus the Porvoo Butchers on Friday. And lastly, the Loya Crusaders take on the Wausau Royals on Saturday. Let's talk a little bit about each one of these games. First game up, Kuopio Steelers versus Helsinki Roosters. Q, what's the interesting storyline or question you got in this one?
The only question I got right now for the whole world, Maple League and everybody, is why we got to play the rest of the games. Let's be champions. Let's just play. Let's just decide the champion this Thursday. Thursday, right? Let's decide it right now. That's who's gonna be there anyway. At the end of the season, it's gonna be the Roosters against Kuopio. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. 1 and 2. It's gonna be 1 and 2. That's how they're gonna end up playing each other. But anyway, I'm throwing it out there because I just want to get y'all attention. But I think this is gonna be a real good, exciting game. I think it'll be exactly what we think it's gonna be. See a display of just two offenses that can hit at any time. The difference in this game is gonna be the defensive play and it's gonna be the O-line play. The trench said it before, but I think it means something in this game. Who's going to be the bully? Who's going to be the bully in this game? Both teams can hit. We know this. Both quarterbacks can hit real fast. So if you don't get stop drives, if you don't get turnovers, you're not going to be the victor in this game. Kuopio, very active DBs. Just very active DBs. So it's going to be very important that they're careful with the ball on both sides. For the quarterbacks. I think the deciding factor in this game is going to be which defense can get the most stops or turnovers. If you get turnovers can decide whether or not this team gets another drive or two to score. Because I think both of these offenses are just so prolific when it comes to scoring, right, that it's going to be hard for both of these defenses to maintain all game. So one defense has to get more stops than the other and maybe some turnovers. But I think that'll be the deciding factor, maybe even the big play on special teams. Both have guys that can do something big on the special teams part. It's going to be very interesting to see how both teams approach this game because they're similar. I think the Roosters probably run the ball a little more than Bill does. So that'll be something. They're going to have to deal with Green. They have to deal with a lot of people. I don't even want to just say one name. They're going to have to deal with a lot of people on both sides of the ball. So right now, I know both of these teams have been watching film on each other for the last 2 weeks. And I think they're going to be ready for a real battle. So just the question is, which quarterback is gonna make that play for his team to get over the top? Because I do think it'll probably be a shootout. I think both defenses are good, but I think their offenses are better for both teams. So let's just see how it goes.
Chris, what about you? What's your storyline or question?
So I got a storyline. My storyline a couple of weeks ago before the midsummer break was the battle of the winless. Now it's the battle of the undefeated. This is what we want to see. Roosters, Steelers, battling it out, trying to take early claim, trying to get one hand on that number 1 seed already early in the season. And these are the two teams that everyone wants to see play right now. It's going to be a great game. I don't quite agree with Q. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's probably going to be like 20-something. I don't think it's going to be any more points than that because I feel like both defenses are good. there's a little bit of a hole. We talked about it off air with the Steelers corners. There's a little bit of a hole there. And if the Roosters, if Ambro gets time in the pocket and he's able to make the throws that he's been able to make all season, it could come out to be who's going to play better defense in this game is going to win this game potentially. Because I feel like, yes, both these offenses can score at any point because they've got playmakers on both teams. So I feel like it's going to be the defenses are the ones that are going to have to step up, and they're going to be the ones who are going to win this game, I believe, for whichever team comes out on top.
Crap! As y'all are talking, I'm trying to figure out like where I want to go with mine, and I just realized I don't even know who I was going to pick to win this game. Like a storyline or a question. I guess my real question is like, in this game, out of these two teams, like who's the real deal? Like we've seen both teams play. We've kind of pronounced that both teams are, Maple Bowl bound or capable of winning a Maple Bowl. But honestly, this is the matchup, right? Q said this is the Maple Bowl. At this point in the season, yes, this is the top two teams. They're the last two undefeated teams. Excuse me, sorry. Steelers have done away with the Crocs. We assume that the Roosters can do the same, but I want to know who's really the contender this year out of these two, because I feel like I haven't seen them play against good enough competition yet. And now they're going to play against each other. I'm able to evaluate. For me, it's going to be one of the games where I'm not watching the skill players. I'll actually be able to watch the linemen in this game because you have two good lines on both sides. Both the Roosters and the Steelers have great offensive lines. Who's going to be able to run the ball? One team has a little bit edge in the running back department, and I'm going to just move on to the next one because that's what I want to talk about more than anything. Is the key matchup in this game is Ethan Greenfield versus the Steelers defense, because he's the outlier. When you look at the fields of these two teams and you say, okay, well, they can match that, they can match that. Okay, that's a draw. It's an even here, a little here, a little there. There's no matchup for Ethan Greenfield. No offense to what the Steelers defense does, and they have a great linebacker. I can't remember his name. I never can. We don't ever talk about him enough. But he is a great player at linebacker, but he doesn't match up with Greenfield. The way he plays doesn't match up.
What?
As both I'm not speaking as clearly as I'm thinking. As both a runner and catcher. Like out of the backfield, Greenfield he gets to the edge much quicker than anyone else in the league. And that's the difference between him and a Christian Powell. A Christian Powell, you kind of go to the tackles, and that's where linebackers live. Linebackers live in that tackle-to-tackle area. Ethan Greenfield gets to the edge around the corner and leaves. And then in the pass game, Ethan Greenfield can out-leverage a linebacker on a swing route very easily because he's so fast. That's something no one else in the league has done this year. No other running back has been playing on the edge from the running back position. He's not going up in between the tackle. He's getting to the edge. And we haven't seen any linebackers with that type of speed either. Outside of Lil Khalifa from the Royals, there really isn't a linebacker that's going to be able to keep up with Ethan Greenfield. So how they decide to do that, do you say, hey, defensive end, if you see him run a swing, do you peel off, which is going to slow down your pass rush? Or do you say outside linebacker, good luck. You got to match up with him, which is going to be trouble all day. Yeah. And again, the linebacker from the Steelers, he's not an outside linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. He's an inside linebacker. So he's not going to beat.
You're right, number 9. Is it number 9?
Is he number 9?
Number
from
2.
The Steelers, he's number 2, right?
Number 2. Yeah.
Number 2. He's an inside linebacker, if I'm not mistaken.
But I mean, he's a middle backer, but you could tell he probably play outside too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I think that's gonna.
I don't change my defense for him.
Doesn't like it doesn't. It's gonna help Corpio because I think he's capable of moving around to the point where maybe even with one linebacker. You know what I'm saying? And have more DBs on the field. I think he's capable of helping on the run support. But like you said, Purpose, that's where it's going to be important. And I was going to say it's going to be just as important on the other side too, because the
Agreed.
Roosters D-line isn't, you know, like they collectively as a team defensively, they've been playing good, but there's not like a name on their D-line that I'm like, the Corpio got to deal with him. You know what I mean? It's not a name like that right now. So
true.
Just as important, but Corpio will try to run the ball that much. I don't even think they're going to really try to do it like that, but they should. They should, because that's probably where they can gash a little more than they think. Right though, it's that either Greenfield is going to be he's going to be probably the deciding factor with whether or not they can win this game, because if he's not getting first downs, then it's going to be a different ball game. But if he's doing what he's been doing, knocking and rumbling, yeah, it's gonna be hard for Corpio to really get the ball a lot on offense, because he's gonna run the clock. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna keep the clock moving. So it's like you said, that's a real good thing to look at, to see like how their defense play against him.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What's like a matchup in this game that you like?
So key matchup. It's similar to the run game, really. I'm thinking more of the lines, the offensive lines and the defensive lines. And I'm going to say both offensive lines from both teams and both defensive lines. I feel like this game is going to be won in the trenches, because we know Ambro's not great under pressure. So Jamarcus Henderson, if you can get in that backfield like you've been doing all year, the Roosters have got a great offensive line. Are they going to scheme? Are they going to double him? Like, they have to double him, really, because he's been a
Whoa. I'm just going to say, don't forget about Sample out there. But don't forget about Vekamaki. Don't act like Vekamaki can't block.
No. I'm saying, but if he's not if he's young one, it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, on the other side, yeah, that's a trouble, because they got a kid at right tackle.
Problem over there. Yeah,
they got a kid at right tackle right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the import comes in too.
Maybe, because they've got that new offensive lineman. So I feel like this is the battle right here. Okay,
true.
Both defensive lines versus both offensive lines, because if Corpio can get pressure on Ambro, that's when he throws picks. We've seen it when he was in Corpio before. That's when he throws picks. I don't feel like any teams have really got much pressure on him this year, which is why he's only thrown one pick on the season so far. So if they can get pressure and they can get to him, great job. Q said about it in the last episode as well. He thinks the way to beat Josh Taylor is to get pressure on him and try and keep him in the pocket. So on the flip side, if the Roosters defensive line can get into the backfield and keep Josh in the pocket and not let him beat him with his legs as well, and let him escape, because he's a menace when he escapes, and he can pass or run on the run. So he does absolute bits. So if they can keep him in the pocket and they can get pressure on him, great. But then both offensive lines, if they do their job, it's gonna be an interesting game, because I feel like there'd be more points on offer if these two defensive lines can't get much penetration in the backfield. So I feel like this is the key matchup for me, both offensive lines and both defensive lines.
Makes sense. What about you, Q? What's your key matchup?
This is a hard one right here, but I'm honestly, it's going to be against the defense, against the Roosters defense. I think like Chris just said, it's going to be like they have to choose. Do we want to keep him in the pocket, or are we going to let him scramble? Are we okay with just our 4-man rush? Because if the Roosters man rush is what they have right now, that's not going to sustain them during this game. It's just not going to work. This he's too good of a quarterback. Enough depth right now at D-line to really give him a go. Like, the Roosters have got to bring some people in for this game. They're going to have to. Some people are going to have to suit up. They haven't suited up all year.
Come out of retirement, as they always do.
Everybody
coming out.
Bro. I'm telling y'all right now, mark my words, that we're going to see somebody that wasn't playing these last few games suit up. Because you need it. Like, and it's just going off of what. Like, I'm just watching
that linebacker too, though, right?
Yeah.
They need that, because you say, okay, if we can win all the way up and play them, then I can save some money. I can save some money on imports, for one, and bring them in when we need them, right before we really need them to be there, which is now you're going against the best quarterback, You know what I'm saying? You could say you're going against probably one of the best receiving corps besides your own. It's going to be a lot going into this game. If they need to find a mismatch, where the mismatch is right now, and I know y'all might not agree, is that Ambrose is playing against his. Yes, it might not be a whole bunch of those guys over there, and
Just the
Purvis,
corners.
you might not.
I mean,
you think it. I'm saying like not as in like the guys. I'm saying your old team. It's a feeling that you're gonna get that's gonna come over you. That's also gonna be like I'm gonna show y'all, but at the same time, it can get to you like, whew, like you know what I'm saying? Like he has it. If he don't feel nothing, then I'm just talking on air. But I'm just
you know
going
what?
off of like
I want to add to it though, like because I think you're 100% right in the fact that this is what I'm gonna say about the interesting aspect is they're playing in Kuopio.
Yeah.
I think it'd be different if they were in Helsinki. But you make a good point for them playing in Kuopio. First of all, you're playing on grass. You're not playing on that fake turf stuff that they got in Novello. So it's a little, and even them playing on grass is different because most people play on turf. So playing on the grass, that's also a different thing. And then you, like you said, Ambrose going back to where he played his home games, but now he's a visitor.
Mm-hmm.
So that
and
would be
it's a I think I think the Roosters have made him real comfortable. I think Ambrose is going to show up in this game, but there's going to come a point in this game that he's going to have to show them this is what y'all failed to realize that I can do for y'all. You know what I mean, or whatever. You know what I mean. I just think quarterback wide back is way more experienced than the other.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to that part of the game where one of these guys have to make a play or anything, I'm going to go with the guy that I think has been in this situation a lot more times. And I don't know. Y'all don't think it's going to be a shootout? I think it's going to be a shootout because I don't think either side cornerbacks are really just like like fearful cornerbacks. I just don't see it. They have safeties that make up for the lack of play that their corners do because the safeties are always around, so they save them a lot and like that. But I think Kuopio has a more complete defense than the Roosters do now.
Here's my question to you then, like just random question because we started talking about the corners. What do you think is the best way to like use that to your advantage for these teams with the outside receivers? Is it running more like hitches, outs, comebacks, or do you stick with the concepts of two receiver routes and things like that?
I think you run what you've been running because for one, both teams have the confidence that for some reason think their guys can play one-on-one. They one-on-one and win. Like both teams. I'm not mad at them for it. Like when you're winning, it feels like it's a great thing to do. But I know against certain quarterbacks, receivers don't have to be open. We can watch Kuopio games and we can watch the Roosters game, and we're going to see who threw more touchdowns where it was somebody actually about their receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a difference now because now it's going to be skill. It's got to be skill. It can't be more so who you playing against. Yeah, playing against Wolverines or the Royals. Like the guys are going to be open probably sometimes. Like it's going to be real easy. But when you playing against a team that is probably skilled, just as fast, just as coached, it's going to take a lot more than just talent. Now it's going to take brains. It's going to take skill. You know what I mean? Like it's going to take more ball knowledge comes into play now. Yeah, okay. We haven't seen them down a touchdown yet. What kind of offensive plays do you think they're going to run now? What kind of defense think they're going to run now? If you get the Roosters down two touchdowns, are you going to chill out and run zone, or are you going to keep blitzing Ambrose? Like it's a lot of decisions that got to come into these type of games because they say, hey, this is the team that's probably going to either keep us from going to where we want to go, or they're going to stop us from going where we want to go. So how you approach it is how you approach it. If you approach, it's just another game. This is not just another game. It's not. In Finland, it's definitely not. You know what I mean? So this game is important because now, depending on how we season, one of us going, both will probably have home games, but got to clash again. If it happens that way. But right now, I think these are the best two teams right now in the league. Right now.
Definitely. Chris, any last things on this game before we move on?
I think we've both said it all. We've said it over and over again. This is the game of the year so far right now. The two best teams going at it straight after the midsummer break as well. So they're both going to be healthy. They're both rested. We know the Roosters are missing a couple of key players, but both teams are going to be ready to go. They're rested. They've had a week and a bit to prep. So they're going to be ready to go, and it should be a good one. It's going to be shaping up to be, as I said, the game of the season so far.
So, talking about the second game that we have, Helsinki Wolverines versus Porvoo Butchers. Chris, I'll let you lead this one off. What do you got for a storyline or a question?
Butchers, you need to put 50 points on this game against the Wolverines for us to take you seriously this year, because you've struggled on offense all year. You're now playing an okay defense. They're a good defense. I know Purvis likes what they're doing over there. They're a good defense, but it's a statement game because they're the worst team in the league. Okay, you beat the Crusaders just before the midsummer break, 46-0. You need to put 50 burger on this team for us to take you seriously, because right now we're not seeing it. On offense, if you can put over 50 points on this team, you've got a bit of consistency there going into next week when you've got a bigger game. This is important for you. It's a really important game because you need to keep the ball rolling. If you want any chance of making the playoffs this year, you need to keep the ball rolling.
What about you, Q? What is your question or storyline?
I think the Butchers to show the rest of the league and us that the first part of the season was just them trying to figure out their identity. Their defense looked a lot better their last game, but offensively they still don't look like what I think we're used to seeing from them. They're going to look like it in this game because of the team that they're playing. But we should still be able to see this game and figure out or not if they got better. If they made some, Brandon Gwinner has to turn it on now. Brandon Gwinner, we asking you now to turn the juice on. Your team needs it. I think Cofield should get the ball a lot more than what he's getting right now. That's the first thing. I don't like they're trying to distribute the ball some kind of way to get the receivers in the game. No, get your running back in the game first. Get him going first. It'll open the game. But Porvoo, they'll figure it out. I know they got some good coaches over there. They'll figure it out enough to like get them in a position to be where they want to be, or at least have a chance, and that's all you want. But right now, this game right here, I expect Porvoo to win, and I expect them to win. I don't really have any stories, any questions for it. Wolverines, I feel like I said last year, I feel bad for them because like it's hard to go out there and fight and really try to give effort every game, knowing you got to deal with certain people at certain positions and that don't chance to win. So, Porvoo just come out of this healthy. Wolverines come out of this one healthy. I hope they got better. I hope the Wolverines get better too and make Porvoo work for it. That's it. Shit, that make them work for it.
Yeah, for me, it's the storyline would be how many ways can the Butchers score? I'd like you guys to really open it up this weekend. I want to see, kickoff or punt return touchdowns, interception touchdowns. I'd like to see. I can't say. I don't know why I can't think of it right, but I like to see Timmy Nuika get a pick. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't think I've seen him get a pick yet. He's got all the sacks and all the tackles. I'd like to see him get a pick. Rasmus is sure to throw it up. So, maybe we get a lateral. Zach Wright, if you get a pick, maybe you lateral it to a lineman or something. I'd like to see if the Butchers can win with some style. I agree with Chris. They definitely should put up a 50 burger. But if they don't, I at least want to see like a lot of different things. I want to see passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. I want to see interceptions. I want to see fumbles. I want to see everything in this game to let me know that you're not taking it easy on them. What I don't want to see is backups in the fourth quarter. I don't want to see it. You haven't played good enough to let your backups play. You need to actually, dominate and show us, like what Chris said, that you're legitimately trying to be better in the second half of the season. I guess key matchups in this game. I don't have one yet, so I'm gonna think about it. So, Q, do you got a key matchup?
The only key matchups in this game is going to be who made the best marketer at the game, either they side or the home side. That's matchup, man.
Best
Who gonna have the
mark-
best food? Who gonna have the best food, man? The
It's
best
it's in
food.
Helsinki, right? Yeah, games in Helsinki. So yeah,
Okay, so Wolverines, y'all gonna have marketer with bread or without bread? That's the only key matchups we care about right there, man. No, I ain't gonna do it like that. But obviously, got to be DBs against the receivers. Wolverines probably can bring they can figure out a way to maybe even put it out at some kind of nickel safety, hybrid thing, because if Porter was going to throw the ball on them. So I think you take your chances of defense, kind of make them throw everything, keep everything in front of them, and try to get some interception or maybe delude them, can make something happen and maybe come on something. But they got to score on defense to have a chance in this game, which they're capable of doing. I think they got the guys that can do it. Some guys that can, but key matchups, yeah, that's a tough one because they don't match up against them really in any category. Maybe kicker, maybe. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny at all, bro. I'm just saying, I'm trying to find something positive to say because it's just hard to go. It's hard, and it's like, all right, Wolverines. Like sometimes we see y'all a few games ago. Y'all gave us a good show. Like, man, just give us that same effort, that same, Adams, and a little more, and let him get 12, 13 catches and see what we can do with offense. But if y'all gonna go out there and run play action and dump, then we can go on to the next teams, man.
Chris, what about you? Is there any type of key matchup in this one for you?
I'm going to say the Wolverines' offensive line versus the defensive line of the Butchers. Wolverines' offensive line had their struggles this year. They're coming up against a strong front seven and a strong defensive line. They've got playmakers on that defensive line that have been balling. So their offensive line needs to hold up. We know Rasmus, he's another one of these quarterbacks that can't handle the pressure. He gets happy feet. When he gets happy feet, he throws picks. So if they get in the backfield and that offensive line can't protect them, he's going to be throwing that ball up and it's going to be picks. He's thrown a lot of picks this year. And it's a lot to do with the pressure he's under. He's trying to find guys. He's scrambling. He's running for his life because the offensive line are just not holding up. So they really, really need to hold up in this game to give them any chance to be competitive. I'm going to say competitive. I'm not going to say win because I don't think they're going to win this game. But for them to be competitive, the offensive line needs to play well. And they need to play really well because this defensive line are not going to let up. And they're going to be in their face all game. And they're going to be coming. Yeah. It's a big match.
For me, I think only key matchup I got is the Butchers running back. I think Mickey J versus the Wolverines front seven, as well as their linebacking core, and throw in Darius Lewis, who he plays safety, but pretty much plays outside linebacker for them because he's always in the run game. I think it'll be interesting how they attempt to slow Mickey J down in the run game because he's very versatile, very shifty back. And I don't know if their players will be able to cleanly tackle him in a situation where he's going to be able to get a lot of extra yards. And even though they'll be playing on the velo, I don't think it'll affect the way that he plays because he's played on it for so many years. Well, I think for the Wolverines defense, they might have trouble trying to corral him in this game. I know they'll be able to throw the ball, but I really think for the Butchers to be good, they have to go through Mickey J at running back. They have to make sure that he's a viable option in the run and the pass game, even if that means screen passes to him or quick swings or something like that, so that he's active in the game and the defense has to focus on him. That's how they have success. And that way defense can't just have everybody in coverage or try to load the box if they decide to just run up the middle, something like that. So that's a matchup for me. Let's see. Interesting aspect. We get to see the white jerseys from the Butchers, which I like those things. They don't have white pants though, do they? Do they have white pants?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, all white.
Yeah,
They do have white pants.
Yeah,
they do
they
have
do.
white pants. Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a couple. We had midsummer break. I forget what they look like, but I do like their unis, so I'm excited to see that Colorado white out there, and then it's gonna look completely different compared to the different shades of blue that the Wolverines be having on their jerseys and their helmets. You have like light blue, dark blue, and then you have. Matter of fact, let me throw this out here. Last time I saw the Wolverines play at home, I noticed that one of their players, Sebastian Lagora, his jersey had a different font. Like it was like Times New Roman or something. Like it was like his like junior's jersey from years ago. So he's just wearing it out there with these little bitty number 33s and Times New Roman while everybody else has, I guess, a different font on their jerseys. But stuff like that is just ridiculous. Like it's supposed to be the top league. And the Wolverines got out here looking like who done it when it comes to the jerseys and the helmets. But it's gonna look really crazy because the Butcher's gonna be out there looking real good in them new Alpha Performance, all whites, Colorado white and what is that, gold? White and gold colors. I'm excited.
White and gold.
I'm excited. Interesting aspect is I want to see what the footwork look like. Because this is that, like you play on that turf, and normally the Butchers play on grass, so everybody's gonna have on a different pair of cleats. So I wonder, like, what they do. Do you go get those soccer cleats? Do you go get the J's? Do you go get the primes? I would get. I mean, I would never, because I don't spend money like that on shoes. But I think having the primes on that would look nice, especially with those white unis. So maybe somebody has them. Gwinner, Mickey J, Cofield, somebody, Zach Wright, somebody come out there. Let me see your footwork. Yeah, let me see your footwork. That's about it on that game because ain't nothing else gonna happen out there. We know who's gonna win. All right, last game is Lawyer Crusaders versus Wausau Royals. Q, storyline question in this one.
This actually might be a pretty good game. It'll be a pretty good game. Storyline is which one of these teams is going to progress and which one of these teams is going to digress. And I think this will tell both teams where they sit as far as where they go in the rest of the season. Because they're similar. I think the Crusaders are a little better, though. They're a little better. They don't look better all the time, but I think they're a little better if you come down to like just comparing rosters and say, okay, offensively they have this. But in order for both teams to really get it going this game, they got to have some better quarterback play. Alpha is probably going to go bananas in this game, though. I think he's going to go bananas in this game because I don't think the Crusaders have anybody right now that can even remotely, keep up at any point, running routes, anything. They have DBs. They do have a DB. I don't know if he's an import or not, but it's still going to be hard to deal with him because I just don't have the players either at certain spots. And when you got a guy like Alpha on the other side, it's only so long in the game before he hits you big or he cuts across the field, Reggie bushes you or whatever. You know what I mean? So I want to see both teams give a lot better effort than what they've been giving on defense from both sides. The Royals have a lot of good defensive players. They just haven't brought it together yet. And when your defense isn't together, then your offense really don't have that much of a chance. And Crusaders have the offense together for the most part. They just don't have the defense together. They have a good coach, but you need certain positions, and they just don't have that yet. But maybe after this, after the midsummer, they made some changes or whatever. But this will be a good game. I think this is going to actually be a game.
What about you, Chris? What are your storyline or question for this one?
Mine is going to be which offense is going to be firing on all cylinders because we know the Crusaders have got the ability to put big points up. They've done it once so far this season, but they've been really inconsistent. The Royals, they've not really put big numbers up. So maybe they figured out something different to get things going with them. As I said, Landers, he's a good QE, but I think he's in the wrong system. I think they're not using him to his strengths right now. When he's running the ball a bit more, running that RPO, I feel like he's a better quarterback. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's probably, there's two difficult games to pick this week, to be fair. And it's going to be quite a difficult game to pick because either team realistically could win this game. Is it going to be a shootout? It could either be a shootout or it could be a really low scoring game. I don't think it's going to be something in between. I think it's going to be one or the other. I really don't feel like it's going to be like a 21-14 game or something like that, or a 27-21 game. I feel like it's going to be like 47-45 or 10-7. I really feel
that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like it's got that kind of feel to it. So it's going to be a good one. Like you said, I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a competitive game. And they're battling for fifth spot here right now at the moment. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah. For me, I'd go with my question would be, I wonder who's going to make the most mistakes. I feel like it's going to be a sloppy game. I think it's going to be similar to like what you said. Like I think it's going to be high scoring, and not because anyone's playing well, but because someone's playing bad. I think it'll be a high scoring game. Both of these teams are prone to turnovers. Both of these teams are prone to just like boneheaded plays as well in different situations. And that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a game where, people score a lot of points. Stats are going to be inflated, but ultimately it's going to be bad football by two teams that play bad football. Not to take anything away from those plays that'll be made because you have to make the plays. But I think both of these teams are going to allow the other team to make plays. So I'm just interested to see who makes the most mistakes. So who gets to capitalize the most off of those mistakes and actually get the win, because whoever does that is going to win the game. Key matchups, I'll take this one. I think the key matchup is always the key matchup. It's going to be Alpha versus everybody else. That's the key matchup is what you allow Alpha to do. Do you just let him catch passing touchdowns? Does he does special teams? Does he get a pick? And again, do not let him touch the ball. I don't know why people kick to him. Here's another thing. If anyone doesn't know, the way that they're doing the rules here in the Maple League is that a touchback only gets you to the 20. It's not getting you to the 25. They're not playing those rules out here. I've seen it a couple times, like, okay, it's weird. You're only getting to the 20, which means anytime Alpha has the ball in the end zone, he should run it out because he can get to the 25 himself. So I don't know why he hasn't done that. And a couple times he lets the ball, like he take a knee or he'll let it go out. If he gets the ball anywhere in that end zone, he can run it out and get it to the 25 and gain them yards, which can help them in field position. So I really hope that he attempts to do that in this game and doesn't just let that ball roll out there. Q, what about you? What do you think is a Q matchup?
Same matchup you got, Alpha against everybody else, man. It's really like it ain't that hard to tell. The Swosty against their linebackers and D line is gonna be two. I think that's what they're gonna come out with. They're gonna try to come out and get Swosty going and get him trucking. And then that's going to in turn open up the passing game for him to get the one-on-ones. Knowing Jason, and I mean Jason Thomas, knowing him, I think and for Alpha, I think they'll double team him off the rip every play. And if you beat him, you're gonna have to beat him with Savosti or you're gonna have to beat him with somebody else. But I don't think they're gonna just let Alpha do Alpha. But he's still going to make those plays because he's just that good of a player. He's that great of a player. But I do think the Royals might have a little, they might have something under their sleeve waiting on the Crusaders. And it could be the same way for the – it's like you said, it's some sloppiness that we've seen them both play with. So we expect some of that. You know what I mean? Probably some fumbles, some little just BS plays that teams that – aren't that good make, and that's what make them those type of teams. But this game could decide, who's going to be better than the other, when it comes to the end of the season. But
or who almost makes playoffs. It could be close.
Make playoffs. Yeah, it'd be close. Like if they want to make it to the playoffs, they have to win this game. Whether it's the Royals, like either one, it can't be sorry and it don't matter. But I think Crusaders probably need this game more than the Royals. I think the Crusaders do. I think this is all right. See, I told y'all. It's like one of those moments. Like if they beat the Royals, like, see, I told y'all we can do this. But I just looking at what both teams have. The Royals just they might just edge a little more in this game right now. So, it's gonna be a matchup though. Alpha against everybody else.
What about you, Chris? What is your key matchup?
I mean, I'm going to say something different just for the sake of saying something different because I'd say the same as you two guys right there. I mean, Alpha's the key, isn't he, for the Royals? But I'm going to say quarterback versus quarterback. I feel like whichever quarterback plays the best is going to win the game for their team because we've seen inconsistencies from both quarterbacks. Whichever one can get it right and be the more consistent and play the best, I feel like they're going to guide their team to victory. And I think that's why that is a key matchup. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you too. I think
so. Yeah, before we move on, let me ask you guys, who do y'all like as a better quarterback out of these two? Go ahead, make a pick.
Messina
or Theo Landers? Who do you like better?
I'd probably pick Messina as well.
Okay, all right. As long as we're all on the same page. All right. I think that's it for that game, so we get up out of here. Oh, yeah, I meant to do interesting aspect, but I don't think we really have an interesting aspect of this game.
No.
The interesting aspect would be how many touchdowns
Battle for fifth place.
Battle for fifth. Very interesting.
Are you a fan of the American Football in Finland podcast? Show your support in style. Rock our logo proudly on hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, and snapbacks, all designed for fans like you. Join us in celebrating American football in Finland. Grab your gear and be a part of the AFF community.
Are you an athlete looking for a community? Are you an athlete who feels alone in the process of trying to get to the next level? Join Ballers Members, a tribe for athletes in Europe with elite level mindset, led by international legends Alpha Juice Jallo and Jock Crawford. Have a brother right in your backyard. If this is the community that you're looking for, DM Ballers International on Instagram at BallersINT. Join Ballers Members today. Let's get into the pick'ems. First of all, here's the rankings. First place, Andy B, 15-0. Tied for second, Coach Q, Chris Green, Coach Mike, all 14-1. And then in fifth place, Jamal Clay, 13-2. Sixth place is Finland Swami at 12-3. And tied for last is Perfect and LEM at 10-5. It is what it is. I just be out here making picks, trying to live my best.
It's what it is when you pick the Wolverines to win.
It's gonna get mixed up. It's gonna get mixed up this week, though. It's gonna
You think so?
Ones. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think there's gonna be a few different picks. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Sure.
I'm interested in it. I want y'all to know I don't care about my picks. I ain't trying to be the best picker. I don't know why people think that matters.
Easy to say that when you're in last place.
I don't.
If he was in first place, he'd be like,
yeah, I won. Yeah. But yeah, you better recognize.
Looks like it.
Look, anybody who's been watching and listening, y'all know I'm out here. I'm trying to motivate. I'm trying to, I'll be picking opposite to hope that the other team will, play better. I'm out here trying to inspire folks. I just be making picks. I thought I could will the Wolverines to a win. Who knows? Maybe I'm all they need. They needed somebody to. They needed somebody to believe in them, and I did that for them. I just try to do that for them. Always rooting against the grain. I don't know. These games are weird, anyways. But anyways, let's get into our picks. We've already talked about the games, so we'll briefly talk about who we picked and why. You can see our picks on Instagram at American Football in Finland, and you can make comments on there. Feel free to let us know if you think we got them right or not. Coach Q, who you got and why?
I'm looking forward to this one.
First game.
Look,
no.
Start with me first. Why you start with me first?
I was starting with you, but we're gonna start from the bottom.
Okay.
So we don't have to start
So
with
we
the
go
games.
Crusaders.
Order. Yeah,
Crusaders
Lawyer Crusaders,
and
Wausau
Royals.
Royals. Who you got and why?
I think the Royals are winning this game. I think offensively they'll do more than they need to. And I think I think Alfie's just too good of a player. He won't let them lose to the Crusaders. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I think defensively it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt the Crusaders defensively to not have the depth that they need against a team like the Royals. A bigger O line. They're probably gonna push the Crusaders around a little bit. Alpha will probably run some fly sweeps. Like, it's going to be a lot to deal with. So I'm going with the Royals.
All right. Other game we have is Helsinki Wolverines versus the Porvoo Butchers.
I'm going with the Porvoo Butchers because they're just a better team. I think they're hungry right now. I think the Wolverines will give a good effort, but I don't think they have enough of what it takes to beat Porvoo.
All right. We'll save the last game. All right, Chris.
Yeah.
Lawyer Crusaders or the Wausau Royals?
And I'm stuck. This is a tough game to pick. This is a real tough game to pick. I honestly, Q, I thought you were going to go with the Crusaders. I did. I thought you were going to go with the Crusaders. Do you know what? I'm going to go with the Crusaders. I'm going to say the Crusaders are going to win. And the reason being, I feel like the quarterback play is going to be better from them. I feel like Sophocles is going to have a big day. And I just feel like the Crusaders are going to beat them. I don't know why. I've just got this gut feeling. I just feel like they edge it slightly, but it could go either way. And it's going to be
That's
a close
10
one.
pounds of protein in your stomach. That's the 10-pound protein you got in your stomach. That's that gut feeling you got right there. It's breakfast. That gut feeling you got is breakfast right there.
Yeah, I know it's probably going to come back to haunt me, and Alpha's going to be flying in the DMs or something after the game.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we told you. Something like that. But yeah. No, I'm picking the Crusaders. I'm picking the Crusaders. I don't care. I feel like they're going to win. Something just tells me they're going to win.
What about the Helsinki Wolverines versus Porvoo Butchers? Who you got in that matchup?
Easy one. Porvoo Butchers. Move on.
Yeah, makes sense. Out of what is it, the Royals and the Crusaders? I'm gonna go with the Royals, and it's tough picking the Royals. I don't like picking the Royals. You know what? I'm gonna change my pick. I'm picking Alpha. That's who I'm picking. I ain't picking the Royals. I'm picking Alpha Jallo to win the game. I believe in Juice. I can't say I believe in that team, but I believe that Juice will not let his team lose this game. I honestly believe that. I agree with you. I think Bryce Messina is going to have better quarterback play than we're going to see from Theo Landers. I think Moses Harris is going to have a better day than we're going to see from Tom Suosti. I think Leonardo Sophocles is going to have a pretty good game, but I think all that's going to be moot in terms of, turnovers, fumbles, interceptions. And I think for the Royals on their side, Alpha will be the catalyst for a lot of what they do. I think if it really get crazy out there and Leonardo Sophocles is just head topping everybody, the Alpha just gonna slide on over there, and that'd be the end of that. And I don't think Leonardo could do the same thing to Alpha when Alpha's on offense. Like, one of those two are gonna get tired. And I'm sorry, but Alpha Jallo can run for days. Like, this dude is in incredible shape. So I feel like he'll outlast whatever Leonardo tries to do. And then when it comes to, Moses Harris and his contribution for them, they can pile up on him enough. I think their offensive line just isn't good enough. And I think the Royals have enough up front to slow him down just enough that they can't outscore him. Still going to be a high-scoring game, but ultimately it's going to come down to Alpha making some crazy plays that should not be physically possible because he's just that physically gifted. And then for the second game, we have Wolverines versus the Butchers. No, I will not be trying to inspire the Wolverines this week. I'm just gonna go with the Butchers in this one. I'm gonna let it ride. Wolverines know how I feel. I've tried what I can with them, and it is what it is. I do hope they change some things, but I am interested to see if the Butchers can really like put a smackdown on them, or if they try to take it easy. It's up to them, but I prefer smackdown. So let's get to the main event. Game of the week, the big one. We got the Kuopio Steelers at home versus the Helsinki Roosters. I'll go first.
You never
Shit,
go
I
first.
forgot. Yeah, I'm gonna go first. So it's more
no.
on y'all too. So
No pressure on us,
in this game, I am going to go with the Steelers. I'm gonna go with the home team. I've said it before, on paper they're the best team, and in this game, I still think on paper they're the best team. The few weaknesses they have don't actually match up with the strengths of the Roosters. So I think that they're going to be able to put up points on the Roosters. I think even if it's a close game, the Steelers can still score. I think if it gets close for the Roosters, that means they're not scoring. And if they're not scoring, I don't see them being able to like manufacture points late in the game compared to the Steelers, who I think at any point in time can change what they're doing and get points if they have to, especially when you have Josh Taylor at quarterback against, I think we said it earlier, Q, the Roosters D-line doesn't have anybody that you're like, oh, we got to block, which means Josh Taylor will have a two-way go, and we've seen it already this season. He can run that thing if he wants to. And if it comes down to it, what game was that when they won like 27-7? Was that against the Butchers?
Yeah.
Or 21-7, where literally he had to manufacture all of their offense for them to be successful. I think that's what you get in this game as well. Is if it is tight, he's good enough that he can win them the game, and there's nothing that defense can do about that. While if it gets into a shootout, he also can put up points in the air. So his versatility is really the reason I'm picking the Steelers over the Roosters in this one. And the Roosters defense, if that makes you feel some type of way, you should. You really should. You should feel some type of way. So next, Chris, I'm gonna ask your pick.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you saved Q till last on this one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's going to be one of them funny moments. Right, so I am picking, in Josh Taylor we trust, the Kuopio Steelers. And
okay, all right.
The Kuopio Steelers is because I just like them better than the Roosters right now. I feel like they're playing better football. They're finding ways to win games. They've won games in multiple ways as well. I feel like the Roosters have won their games the same way. Like, they fed Ethan Greenfield the ball. They've passed it to the Nunnally. That's what they've done. They've been very successful with it. Whereas the Steelers, they've ran the ball with Josh Taylor. They've thrown in a bit of running back with a bunch of guys. There's running back by committee there in Kuopio. They've thrown the ball to multiple receivers. I feel like they're more three-dimensional. I feel like their defense is better. The Steelers' defense is better than the Roosters' offense. So, yeah, I just feel like they're the more complete team right now. I really do like the Roosters as well. I feel like they're a great team, but I feel like the Steelers are going to pip them here. And, yeah, I think Josh Taylor and Brock, Austin Brock and Noah Choate are just going to go – they're going to go off. So, yeah, I feel like, yeah. And they're the home team as well. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to go. And playing, me and you know, Purvis, it's not a nice place to play in Kuopio. It's not a nice
talk
place.
About that, man.
I
won't talk about it. Well, you know what? I will talk about it. Last time I was in Kuopio, I had about 100 yards receiving, so I was okay. Only problem was all their players had 100 yards. But that was one of the craziest things. I don't know if people know this, but me and Chris played on a team that we played at Kuopio. We scored 43 or 45 points
Something like
and
that.
lost.
Yeah. Mm.
And lost. And not lost by a little bit. Lost because they had 70. I've not been to Scorpio since. I have no reason to go back to that
Nor
place.
me.
I left. They gave us this little silver medal. I threw that shit on the ground. I have not been back ever since. But let's get to the ultimate pick of this game. The ultimate pick. Coach Q, who do you have and why?
Whew, this you know what this has never been who I thought was gonna win this in a game. I'll start out by saying, for one, I still think Scorpio is the best team in the league, complete team in the league right now. I see the Roosters as being equally offense, but defensively, it scares me with the Roosters right now from the front seven. Their front seven scares me. And that's saying play hasn't been that great. Defensive line play hasn't been that great. The reason that the Roosters have won the game is because their offense has been just ridiculous. It puts games out so far that defensively you could just play, you're going to win. You know what I mean? Not saying that I don't think the Roosters defense is good. I just don't think it's where it needs to be and where it's going to right now. I think it needs to be a little bit better to beat a Scorpio team right now. I'm going with game, man. I think they just better right now. And I know y'all surprised, but I think Scorpio is better than the Roosters right now. I'm going with the Steelers.
You picked the Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I was sure he was going to pick the Roosters.
The way he was talking, I couldn't tell. I was like, hold on. I thought he was going to pick the Steelers, and then he started talking. I was like, hold up. You might be picking the Roosters here.
No, not right now. I
thought he was going to say.
I'm going to say I don't think we ready. I don't think we ready yet. I think this will be the Roosters' worst competition game.
If they were playing in Bolt Arena, he'd probably be picking the Roosters.
And
that's
if they
sure.
if they was playing in Helsinki, with the Roosters 100%. But they going to Scorpio and dealing with what they got to deal with.
And it's on a Thursday, right?
And it's a Thursday. It's just not a recipe for success on a Thursday, not going to Scorpio. And then you got to deal with who you got to deal with in Josh Taylor. I know it's a lot of other people on that. There is a lot of other people on that team, but this guy is showing you that every week you're going to have to deal with him. I don't think the Roosters right now defensively, offensive line to the linebackers to the DBs, have an answer for what this man can do offensively. I don't think they have an answer. Not saying they won't make plays. I think Julian Bell and them will be active and they'll make plays, but I think when it comes down to it, he has a little bit more of the it factor to win a game than anybody in the field, and that's why I'm picking Scorpio. I think if it comes down to, all right, this team got to drive down and score, and this team got to drive down and Scorpio does it. That's all I'm saying. I just think right now, I think Scorpio is a better team. Not by much, not by a lot, by a landslide or anything. I just think I think the Roosters are going to be a lot better, but I think Scorpio is better right now.
They're gonna revoke your Roosters pass. They ain't gonna let you come to none of the games. They say, man, on us.
I really thought he was gonna be like, oh yeah, I feel like the Steelers are the best team in that, but Rooster! I thought he was gonna pull one of them out.
We got plenty more time for bringing this shirt out again. I might bring the jacket out from 2017 when we really get into the season. But I can't be fake, bro. I'm a fan of the Roosters. I'm a fan of like football, but I cannot be fake, bro. I cannot give you an answer or tell y'all it's gonna be the Roosters if I deep down don't feel like it. I don't personally think they're better than Scorpio right now. They got to show it
right now.
Fine. They want to get in my DMs and say should have went with us and all this right here. I'm gonna tell them straight up, y'all didn't give me a reason to right now. Like it just don't. Like it's just I see good spurts. I see Bryce gonna be hell to deal with. Good things about the Roosters, but I see even better things for Corpio. That's all I'm saying. Like, I can't lie. I can't be fake and say I'm going for the Roosters. I just can't do it.
Hey,
I
you
ain't
heard
mad
it here
at you.
first. Q actually speaking positively about the Steelers. I never thought I'd see the day.
Boy,
Next year,
things have
It's
changed.
changed, man.
Man's maturing out here, over here, changing his mind. All right.
Calling all youth football players. Are you ready to shine this midsummer? Join us at the AFF Nordic Challenge, June 18th through 21st in Helsinki. Showcase your skills to USA college coaches, train with some of the top coaches in Europe, and compete in one-on-ones. Get insider tips at exclusive recruiting sessions and seize international opportunities. You can even win big with camp-sponsored prizes. Space is limited, so register now.
All right. That's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Any last words before we get out of here, guys? Before this weekend gets really started.
Thursday night, be there or be square. It's the one. We've been waiting
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, it's
You're right
exciting.
about that.
Well,
Right
good
about
luck. Good luck to all the teams this weekend. And of course, we'll see you next week right here on the AFF podcast. You can subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget
T.
I
F.
There we
No.
go.